everybody. Welcome to Squatch Zone Radio. We are live, and I'm your host, Daniel Benoit, your co-host, Shaky Jr. Shaky, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing just peachy keen. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. And your voice actually sounds pretty good considering your current health conditions that you've been going through. Oh, man. Well, I do want to let the viewers and guests know that, the viewers mainly, that our guest is here. And at any time during the show, if you have a question for our guest, the call-in number is 602-753-1963. Or you could interact with us through the live chat if you're watching or listening in, through the link itself. So I think we're ready for our guest to come right on in. Our guest is here with us, and I'm going to bring Mr. Don Peak in the show. Don Peak, how you doing?
I'm doing
great. Awesome.
Okay.
I'm glad to have you here, man.
I'm glad to be here.
This is kind of exciting. We've been going through our Kentucky Bigfoot research, episodes, and right now I think we're going to really have an exciting show. I think we have some interesting things to kind of get into. We're definitely going to get an insight, a look in how you conduct your research and a little bit more about what you what you've been getting involved in lately. Because I think a lot of us are very familiar with a lot of your work and, your Wilderness Adventure page, which I've been going through that. I found some pretty cool stuff on there,
Well, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Don, I think for starters, I want to ask you, how long have you been involved with the Bigfoot research? And how long, and what got you started in that?
Well, 12 years this past July. Before I had my eye-opening event, so to speak, I never gave Bigfoot a second thought. Didn't care about the topic. I see shows on television, and sometimes I'd watch them, sometimes I wouldn't. But I thought that basically Bigfoot, if they did exist, probably lived in the Pacific Northwest, and they were like a giant ape running around, basically, And,
right.
I found out differently. And everybody knows I fish a lot. Right. Everybody knows I fish a lot. And I usually fish large rivers and lakes and what have you. I do a little saltwater fishing too. And but that particular location in the Appalachian Mountains in eastern Kentucky, I had been to this location several times before, and camped there, truck camped. It's hard to get to, and I love to fish for smallmouth bass. And this is a great location, so I went ahead. Nothing was different that day. I actually got there that night and I camped there. And that day I was fishing. I was catching some smallmouth bass. And I got to thinking, the last few times I was down there, I had only waded maybe 50, 75 yards downstream. And I thought, well, maybe if I hiked and waded further down, maybe I could run into some longer and deeper pools where I could maybe catch some bigger bass. So I went ahead and took my tackle and string or what have you, went on down there, and I got about maybe a mile or so, or maybe a little bit further downstream, and I did run into some deeper pools, and I was catching some bigger bass. Well, I caught my limit, and anyway, I was just about ready to head back. Now, this was July, okay, and the sky was just as clear as a bell. I mean, just as blue, beautiful day. And all of a sudden, a big crash, it was a huge rock slammed close to me. And another rock slammed, another rock, pretty good size, slammed on the other side of me, and I looked up, and there was these rocks were, I'd say from 5 to maybe 20 pounds or so, and they were hurled like catapults. And
wow.
and that was, there I am, I mean, I'm like, wow, yeah, that's what I was thinking, So I looked. I seen some movement, some silhouettes along a tree line there. Now this is it's a nice creek, not very wide, and I've seen these silhouettes, and they were huge, and they looked like very very thick, very massive, and of course I didn't know what to think, and anyway, 2 of them stayed within the tree line, and the one that I always did figure was maybe the head, the head honcho, so to speak, maybe kind of walked out. Now I seen this, and I would take a polygraph test this at any time. I seen this human-like creature that had long red hair, had a human face. Okay, had a nose a whole lot like ours, not a blowhole nose like an 8.
Right.
And I used to be a powerlifter and a bodybuilder. Okay, and this guy was just thickly muscled, extremely massive, so muscular that even though he was covered with hair, like when he moved, you could see the muscles under the hair. Okay, I was so close I could tell that he had green eyes.
Oh wow.
Well, I wasn't but about 30 feet away from him, And like I say, you couldn't ask for a better view. I mean, with the sun and everything, So, well, I didn't know what to think. I was like, I was just totally just dumbfounded, and I was. Anyway, they were like, it sounded like they was vocalizing type, like kind of vocalizing back and forth. He didn't take his eyes off of me, and and I was standing there. I had my rod and reel in my hand, and I was about ankle deep in water, and it seemed like it lasted an hour, but I know it couldn't have lasted more than maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And for whatever reason, I just went ahead and threw my stringer. Just I didn't throw it; I lobbed it over there with the fish on it. Now, I will say this about the other 2. I really, how the wind would kind of, it was kind of breezy that day, and now they were like in the tree line, but you could see their faces, with the sun hitting, periodically on them with the in and out of the shadows. You follow me?
Oh yeah.
And you could tell that all their faces, were different. Now I didn't get a very good look at the other ones, okay, but I could tell that they had, in other words, they didn't have the same face.
That's interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I just went ahead and I don't know why I threw the stringer.
Did they react to that?
Well, when I lobbed the stringer over, I just kind of, I was kind of backing up and, kind of walking backwards fast. And, it's kind of hard to walk on those rocks, too, because, they're, it's slippery and what have you, And I got out of the water, and I was going through the woods. Now, there wasn't a trail along the woods, and most of the time I spent, as I was going down that way, trying to find a deeper hole, I spent most of the time in the water because there was no trail in the woods. Okay, so but I wound up in the woods, and of course I kept turning around. By the time I got back, I was just cut everywhere from thorns and what have you, twigs and stuff like that. And I remember getting back to my vehicle, my truck, my camp, and I had a little bivy tent, and I just grabbed the tent and threw what I had in. I didn't even. Well, actually, I left about maybe 3/4 of my stuff there, and just tossed it in. Now, it's really weird. When I was headed back to my truck, you see these horror movies, and you're thinking, now will the vehicle start? Will the vehicle start? I was worried about that.
Right.
I remember worrying about that, and even though I had no trouble, prior to that with the, with my vehicle starting, and but you just work, it was run through my head. Suppose I can't get my truck started, Well, anyway, I went ahead and I got in the truck, and it started right up, and man, I looked like a 4-wheel drive commercial, man. I was coming down that dirt road, bouncing around, and so anyway, when I got back, I thought, well, my God, I had to be Bigfoot. There's no way that, because these things were, I'd say, between 8 and 9 foot tall.
Wow.
And just huge. I mean, just to put in things into perspective, I went down to the Fred Bear Museum down. I love to fish and hunt and all that sort of thing. Well, I was in the Fred Bear Museum several years prior to that and took a picture of this. I think it was at the time he shot it with the bow. It was like the #1 Pope and Young record, a grizzly bear or brown bear. I can't remember now. And I'll tell you what, those things would have dwarfed that bear. And so I was pretty shook up. But anyway, I was trying to find out more about this, because, I've been in the woods a whole lot, and I've never seen anything like that, okay?
Yeah, kind of.
Now, let me just say this. I had seen structures before, in different places. Not all the time, very rarely, but I did see structures before, and I would just kind of scratch my head and think, man, what is that? You know what I'm saying? I had no idea that these things probably, might have been making these things. But anyway, I get back and I started doing a little researching on this and that, and of course back then, that's the only thing you could hear about or read about was the great ape of North America and all that sort of business. And I'm thinking, well, I didn't see an ape, and then I got to talking to people who were supposed to be in the Bigfoot world and Bigfoot. People that supposedly knew a little bit about Bigfoot, and they kept telling me, "Well, Don, you must have been confused. What you seen was 3 tree stumps, or 3 black bear, or then I had this one goofball telling me I seen a giant naked hippie or something. I got all these crazy, I got all these crazy things, and." So then I started looking at the Facebook post and the blog post and these different websites, and I realized that a lot of these people were actually, it wasn't their fault. They were actually confused, very confused at what they seen in the field, because they were openly admitting that they didn't know a tree stump from a black bear. So then I realized, well, if I'm going to get to the bottom of this thing, then I'm going to have to get my own team together. People that spent that spent a good part of their life or most of their life in the outdoors and doing what I do, okay, the fishing thing, the wilderness survival instruction, the hunting, and my house and cabins look like taxidermy studios, okay. And so I knew a lot of people from trade shows. I knew a lot of people, that spent a good deal of their time in the outdoors. And so I started to get a team together because, when you see something like that, you just don't, you don't look at the world in the same light. You think that, you may, people go through their whole life and don't really know what's really in the world they live in. And,
right.
So I've always, so ever since then, I've tried to, to find out just what exactly I seen. And I constantly read. And I read a lot of your stuff too, and a lot of Bigfoot researchers. Of course, you're not going to agree with everything everybody has, but you can agree with most of what some people have, and then you develop your own theories. And then I've had theories that I've held to, and then I gave up. You see what I'm saying? Because as you go on, you get a different perspective, and you may find something else in the field
that might rule that out or something. Yeah.
Right. That type of thing, and so I got to watching some of these shows, and I'm thinking, who hunts like that? There's nobody hunts like that. And because we hunt deer and boar, bear, things like that, and my team members do, and one of them even hunts elk and stuff. But you just don't hunt anything like that, So we decided that we were going to go at this thing totally different, and I have a background in high risk security and what have you, and just different things in my background that I thought I'd go ahead and take into this thing too. So what we decided to do was go into this thing and develop our own way of doing things. And what we're doing and what we've been doing, and it's been very successful for us, is that we are very unintrusive when we go into an area. Of course, before we go into an area, we research. We get witness accounts and things like that. Because I'm constantly, every day, I get instant message, I get email, I get phone calls from all over the United States about Bigfoot, the Dogman, and all manner of things. And what we do is a lot of times we'll send one or two people to talk to them, and then we'll start an investigation with is there any TV coverage, any newspaper, magazine reports, things like that, and then we start looking at the area. We use topographical maps and go in Google Earth and what have you. And see, the thing is, Bigfoot. They need several things, and they need what they need is they need cover, they need food and water, and they need seclusion. We look for funnel areas, we look for ambush points and kill zones. And when we first started getting in this, most people believed that Bigfoot was a herbivore. I remember some of them, like some of the TV shows, and they were talking about, there being I guess that, goes back to the concept of Bigfoot being a great ape.
Right.
But I think that the Bigfoot is an omnivore. I think it's a hunter-gatherer. And,
right. Very well agreed.
Right. I've seen a lot of evidence where they, were like if you were hunting, okay, you would have a funnel area, you would have a great ambush point, and there'd be, there's remains of animals there, and then we've also seen where they've dug up roots and things like that, and probably ate nuts and berries and different other things. But we are convinced that Bigfoot is a hunter-gatherer and what have you. Now, when we go into an area, don't tree knock. And for several reasons. One, if you're in an area where the Bigfoot are at, they're going to tree knock anyway.
Right.
And plus we don't know what the tree knocking means. We had no idea, but we strongly suspect that it might be possibly warning them or other Bigfoot that we're in the area. Okay, and we don't tree knock back because we don't want them to know that we know that they know we're in the area. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
interesting.
we don't howl, scream, yell, or anything like that. If anybody's ever heard a Bigfoot howl, okay, they know that they don't sound anything like one, and we're convinced that Bigfoot, knows that is not another Bigfoot, okay. Plus, you'll have every coyote. We've all seen these videos where or audios where the guy will get on there and he'll go ahead and howl, and every coyote and barnyard dog starts yelping, barking, and then he'll say, "Oh, do you hear the Bigfoot?" And I'm like,
yep.
Really? I mean, come on. I mean, and to me that's very non-productive, and so we don't do any of that. We don't. Most places, almost all places that we go into, we go off trail, because it's been our experience that over 90% of what we find is far off trail. If you look at say like you go to the Smoky Mountains, and you look at the forest and the mountains and hills and everything, you've only seen about 1%, okay, of what's out there. So you have to go off trail, and we look for track lines. Well, first we've got to look for tracks. We look for track lines, structures, things like that. And we've also found too that this isn't a rule written in stone, but we have found that if we find a well-used game trail, a deer trail, deep in the woods, far off of hiking trails and what have you. Then what we'll do, because what we have found in the past, not all the time, but enough times now we found it that we do check. Like when we do find these trails, that we will fan out, and we have found several times that there could be possibly a Bigfoot track line that runs parallel with the game trail. And usually, and most always, it's always downwind. I'll say like in our area around here in Indiana and what have you, most of our weather kind of comes from the northwest. Okay? Now, what we found out is that, depending on terrain and cover, okay, these track lines can be anywhere from 20, 30 yards to over 100 yards away, but they'll run almost parallel with the game trail. Okay, I don't know if any of your listeners have found anything like that or anything like that. And also, like I said, they'll be downwind from where from most of where your weather comes from. Now, most of our weather, about 70, 80% of it will come from the northwest. Every once in a while, we'll get a front coming in from the south, like from the Gulf or something. But it's been, it's a very interesting observation that we've made over the years. We've also found out that some of the larger tree structures that we found, even though that they are like these structures are, maybe deep in the forest or in the mountains or whatever, that we've also observed that or noticed that these structures could be easily seen from the sky. Now, we don't know why that is, but it's almost like, say like if a helicopter pilot or any kind of pilot was looking for something, they could see this thing from the sky. Okay. Now, not all the time, but about 8 out of 10 times. You know, I don't know if anybody else has realized that or recognized that or anything. And we never do what?
Let me ask you a question real quick. After what you just said,
right?
It can be seen from the sky, but is there a higher point or a ledge on a mountain or anything that could be also in that range of sight?
Well, not necessarily. You know, we have seen structures that may be in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. Okay. Now, as a matter of fact, we've only seen like maybe 2 or 3 large structures that have been actually up on top of mountains. Okay. So now,
what I was getting at was, could you see it from a higher point? Is what I was wondering. If you could see it through a hole from a higher point, could they see that structure?
Oh, okay, like looking down, like from a right.
Yeah.
I don't know, because, you know, like I say, these structures would be in very, very thick cover, okay, very, very forested areas, and you know, not, you know, I mean, you know, it's almost like, you know, they want to be seen from the sky. So, I mean, you know, so anybody can draw their own conclusion to that. You know, it's just, you know, like I say, this is still, you know, we're still out on that. The jury's still out on that. We don't know. We don't know why. You know, so we're not going to give a reason. Now we don't. Now the thing is that we don't do any investigations at night. Okay, we don't. We always say that we surrender the night to the Bigfoot. All right. And we don't do any investigations at night. And actually, you know, we think that people can actually run Bigfoot out of an area. And I'll get to that in a minute. But the thing is because a lot of places we go to, we can get snake bit for one thing.
Right.
And a lot of places that we go to are very hard to traverse in the daytime, with gorges, you know, cliffs. You have water dangers. You have swift water a lot of times. You know, to us, it's just not worth it. You know, and so we don't do that at night. And I think a lot of people they depend too much on high-tech toys, man. You know. Instead of, like what we do is we use centuries-old tracking and hunting techniques. You know, we don't worry about drones. We don't worry about night optics. We don't worry about hearing magnifiers, you know, sound magnification. We don't worry about none of that. Now, we have had Bigfoot that we believe are Bigfoot that come in close to camp.
Yeah.
And because we have found evidence later on. And, you know, the reason why I say that people can run Bigfoot out of an area is that, you know, how many times on TV have you seen where they'll have a town hall meeting, okay, and everybody in, about 3/4 of the people in there saying, man, we're seeing Bigfoot. We're seeing them out in the fields. We're seeing them out. We're seeing them in the yards or looking in our windows. I mean, you know, I mean, you know, they're everywhere. And by the time the team gets out there and they dismount on their ATVs, they get, you know, they're banging on the trees, they're screaming and yelling. You know, the drones take to the air. I mean, you know, and if they see a deer, you know, they're, you know, I mean, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you something else, too. You know, it's been our experience, you know, since we've been doing this for a little over 12 years, we have realized that we have really screwed up a couple times. And we have found what we believe were Bigfoot nurseries. And what we did was we messed up. You know, and now what we do is we let areas rest. You know, if we find a really good, what we believe is a habitual zone, then we do what we do, and then we leave, and we don't come back for maybe several weeks or several months. You know, but what we did with these two, what we believe were nurseries, and the reason why we believe they were nurseries is because of smaller tracks were mixed in with the bigger tracks, and much smaller, tree and limb structures and rock structures. Okay, there'd be small flat rocks stacked on each other. There'd be small pebbles lined up, like on logs. There would be small structures anywhere from about maybe just a foot to maybe 3 or 4 foot tall. And
I find a lot of that myself in my area.
Right. And we believe that these are Bigfoot nurseries, and most of these and both these different. Now these were in 2 different states, okay, and both of these were in a very very hard to get to place, and I think that when we went back, now we should have learned from the first time. We went back the first time a week later, okay? Now, we went back a third time, and we didn't see any activity there at all since we had left. And we went back again a couple of weeks later, and I believe that they left the area. That they believe that their young ones were no longer safe, that they had been compromised, their security had been compromised, and but I don't know why we didn't learn from that, and we turned right around about a year later and made the same mistake with this other location. So what we do now is when we find what we call a red zone, hot zone, or whatever, that what we'll do is we'll let it rest for a while, because it's been our experience that you can actually run the Bigfoot off, So, and like I say, we try to be when we go into an area, we talk normal. We don't whisper. Okay. We often combine like maybe fishing as an activity too. We go in as like backpackers maybe, or we canoe in, what have you, and we go about our business, and at the same time we're looking for things, say, because over 90% of what everybody, like when they see a Bigfoot, they're either enjoying the outdoors or they're working in the outdoors. They're not actually looking for Bigfoot. So, but that's just the way we do it, and I think it works for us because about half the team has actually got a glimpse of a Bigfoot, and
awesome.
Which is great, and what have you. And I think it's because of our approach to the whole thing. I think a lot of people storm in there, and what have you, and you're going to scare everything out there. You got to scare a deer. You got to scare a bear. You're not going to have anything hang around if you go in there, and the 3rd Infantry or something. Just roll in there and just. It ain't going to happen for you.
Yeah,
and
just like me. I'm trying to perfect what I'm doing. I got a lot of things to improve too, and like a lot of the stuff that you say you don't do, like as far as the vocalizations. I'm coming to the point where I think it's time to just stop it, because I never get a response on vocalizations that I put out anyway. Tree knocks, yes, I've heard them, and both I've actually given them, and then I have gotten responses off of tree knocks, but it's very, very rare. So.
Yeah. Now, a while back, I did tree knock back, but and it was interesting. But and I did get some tree knocks back, but as a rule, 99% of the time, we don't do that. But I would just,
I got it. My issue with that is if you go in the woods, they're looking at you as a threat. And if you go knocking on trees and hooping and hollering and you hoop something to them, you don't know what you're saying to them. They're looking at you as a threat. And you could be saying, hey, I want some of that. I want some of you. Let's fight. And you may get something that you don't want.
Well, that's a possibility, yeah. Or it may be a mating call. Who knows?
Oh, Lord.
We don't know.
Well, wouldn't that be a trip? But I mean, but that's what we do, and it works for us, and we have found quite a few things that kind of blew our minds, and and plus we're doing the Dogman thing now. And because we got so many people that contacted us over the years about these things, and we're kind of relatively new in that, okay? But we have found some interesting tracks, and some of these areas, these people are telling us about. So it's I don't know, it's pretty good, and we do all this at our own expense. And
Don, I got to ask you a question real quick, though.
Yeah.
I've got to ask you a question. I mean, it's been hitting me since you said it. But when you had your encounter, when you threw that stringer of fish, did you stay long enough to even see if you picked them up, or did you just haul ass?
Man, I didn't stay. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know why I did that. I mean, it's like I had a girl. She told me a while back. Well, it was probably like a peace offering. I had, it was like at that moment, it was like slow motion. It's like time stood still for me there.
Yeah.
I just kind of, and I didn't throw it at him. I just kind of lobbed it at him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when he's busy with that meal, you get away. That's a good idea.
But I don't think they follow me. Of course, these things are so huge that, and their gait is so long. All right, adults will go 5 foot or better, and I mean, they could outrun, they could outwalk me. I mean, they're just that, they're that quick. We have actually seen where they slid down hills and stuff, and you can look at a Bigfoot and not even know you're looking at one. I mean, they're like like unless they're moving, because they blend in so well.
Oh yeah.
The ones that we have seen are, red-haired. I got a glimpse of one that was either blonde it was either Nordic blonde or white. Okay, and one that was black. So I mean, it's just, it is interesting. It's pretty incredible. I think most of the ones that are in Kentucky and Indiana. Actually, I tell you something else. For a long time I heard that, oh man, there's only 200 or 300 Bigfoot on the North American continent, and I'm like, oh, contrary, I beg to differ.
Yeah.
And there's now, I've heard estimates up to 50,000. Now I don't know if there's 50,000 Bigfoot, but there's a whole lot more than 300. And we've got some good states in the east. We've got some very good states in the east, and
I think
Kentucky's great.
Yeah, I think we're underestimated over here because it's like
Well, yeah, there may be several different species too. Because because I've heard about the ones down south are not as tall, what have you, and the ones up in the northwest are 12 to 18 feet and all that sort of business. But the thing is, too, is that we have, Kentucky, Indiana is great, too. I mean, I have done some awesome, we have found so much stuff in Indiana and just cataloged so many things. It took so many pictures up there. Our best tracks, pictures came from Indiana. And we lucked out on them. What we did, one of my top trackers, a lady named Sherry. She's a 6-year cancer survivor, and she is just an excellent tracker, and she's a nurse. But anyway, she stumbled on these tracks, and but it was, you know how the debris of the forest floor is. Sometimes it's, and the ground's hard, and but anyway, for whatever reason, this particular Bigfoot decided to go up this almost dry creek, and I mean, it was a godsend. I mean, we had some gorgeous tracks, man, and we taken all kinds of pictures of them. But that guy, that Bigfoot was huge. I got him on my profile pic on my Don Peak Wellness Adventure page here, and you can see I got a size 11. I've got a size 11 hiking boot there, and it just absolutely dwarfs me. I mean, but you know what really puzzles me is that it looks like claws.
I think I know which one you're talking about, because I have some of your pictures posted for the listeners. If they're listening through the link, I have it's set up.
Right.
There's a slideshow where they're listening. They're also watching. I have, like I said, I think I have a couple of your tracks. I think the one track I got is with your foot next to it. Yeah.
Right.
So, and then some of your structures you found.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said before, I'm an avid backpacker, and I always like to go, camping in these areas and backpack in and that sort of business, and take a little mini ultracast spinning outfit and go ahead and do a little fishing up in the eastern mountains there, and occasionally we would run it, like me and my son, my grandson, what have you, we would run into these structures. And we had no idea. We just kind of scratch our heads and go on, like, what is this? Out in the middle of nowhere, that type of thing, But, actually, we could have walked right by one, didn't even know it.
Right.
So I mean, it's just they're truly amazing. They are the ultimate wilderness survivalists. And,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I absolutely love them. I mean, I believe that they see much better than we do. Now, I don't know whether they have night vision, like maybe an owl or something like that. But I believe that they see at least as good as a cat, which is 7 times better than a human. And I believe they have a great sense of smell. And hearing too.
I'm glad you didn't say what Matt Moneymaker said when he said the eyes sound like they turn them on up like a flashlight. That's about the biggest bunch of horse crap I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? He talks about how they can it's like a flashlight.
Right. But I'll tell you what. Go ahead, Daniel.
Oh, no, that was shaky. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm coughing over here.
So, but like you were saying, as far as, you wonder how often you might have walked right past them and not being there. Sure. I often have asked myself the same thing. Sometimes you may not be aware, or you might get that feeling, you feel like there's something there or being watched, and you look around, but you're not seeing nothing. But like you said, they, natural camouflage, they blend in naturally. And I think a lot of the other animals like that. I've been real close to deer and not realize they were there before.
Right.
So.
Right. I have built blinds in the forest, in the mountains and stuff to try to. Get good pictures of a Bigfoot. But the sad thing of it is this: no matter how clear a picture of a Bigfoot will be, or no matter if it's out of focus or fuzzy or whatever, most people are not going to believe it's a Bigfoot. The only person that's going to the only person that's going to know for sure is the people that were there that actually seen it. So,
Don, I can tell you this. I can tell you one thing. Red circles exist. They're real.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you brought that up about pictures.
Right.
And I, other people need to ask this or think about this for themselves too. But you get people who post these pictures because they're
Right.
supposedly there were squatches that other people supposedly caught in their video. So they do these still shots, they zoom
Hmm.
in, and
Right.
of course all the trees and the foliage, everything becomes distorted and so blended and
Right.
smudgy looking. And so,
Right.
well, hey, this is a Bigfoot. It was in my area. I remember I knew he was there, but the person's claiming that, I knew he was there, didn't see it, but somebody else pointed it out to him. So I was like, well, really? I mean, if this was a Bigfoot, why did he come out looking like this? You really distorted the whole picture, where it don't even look like the trees. The trees don't even look like trees. Because everything.
I know. We had an incident back in January of 2015. Me, Sherry, and another member of my team, Tim. We were in Bell County, and Tim was back at the camp a couple of miles away, and we were me and Sherry was up on top of a ridge, and I was just taking landscape pictures, and didn't see anything at all from where we was at. And I went ahead and took my camera and put it back in the camera case, and went ahead and put my camera case back in my backpack. And then Sherry, she yelled out, she goes, "Oh my God!" She says, "Don, that tree just got up and walked away." And I turned and I turned around. Now, that's the first time she had ever seen one, and she's been doing that at that time for about 10 years. She knew they existed because of what we were finding, but that was the first time that she had ever seen one. And so I turned around real quick. I only got maybe a second or second and a half, 2-second glimpse of him because he went into a really thick wooded thicket there. But so I said, "Do you know exactly?" I asked her. I said, "Could you find where he was sitting at?" And she said, "Yeah." So it took us we were about 200 yards away from him, I guess, where he was at. And so we went down there, and sure enough, you could see where he had been sitting. It had been, that whole day, it had been like drizzling rain, mist and rain. And about a half hour before that happened, the sun come out. And it looks like that he had been kind of enjoying the sunlight, So anyway, we get home, and I go ahead and I take the pictures, and we find where he was sitting at, and we blew it up. Of course, when you do that, it don't look right, because it's going to be out of focus. It don't look, but we thought, well, we could see, the deep eye sockets, the eyebrows, the brow, the nose, chin, ear, small ear, and that sort of thing. And anyway, so I thought, well, okay, we got a picture of one, but it looks out of now with the camera I was using. If I had known that it was there, okay, I could have zoomed in and took a really good picture. But that kind of stuff happens, So, and like when we seen glimpses of the other ones, like it's just like the white one, for instance, or the blonde one. I mean, just maybe a second, 2 seconds, it was gone. But what was really amazing about that, and it reminds me of albino deer. Have you ever seen albino deer?
Only, not in real life, only on people's walls.
Well, the thing is, though, it's amazing of how even an albino deer can disappear in the woods. I mean, it's just, here it is. I mean, you would think that being white and all, but and when the white Bigfoot disappeared, I mean, so easily, it was like, boom. I want to ask everybody in your audience too this. I want to ask your audience a couple things. Maybe we all can learn something from this. All right, I want to see if it's ever happened to you or anybody in your audience. we have done track lines. We have Wayne National Forest up there in Ohio had the longest track line that we had ever. It was well over a mile. Okay. Now the thing is, okay, we have followed some track now. Track lines have disappeared in like bodies of water, rivers, lakes, along railroads, and all this sort of business, and because of terrain like rocks, boulders, things like that. But we have had track lines that are just excellent track lines and then totally disappear and can't find them, fan out, and don't know where they went. So has that ever happened to you guys? I mean, it's pretty crazy.
I personally, I've actually come across what I call partial trackways. You get like a series of tracks,
right?
And then the thing is, they disappear. I've found single tracks, and a lot of people ask, well, why you only find single tracks? Well, it's been the same way with bear, but I have a logical explanation for all that. But I think with what you just asked, related to a long trackway, are we talking about in a is the ground, is it clear, like as far as
well,
no
just going
leaf
like
litter
through the
or
woods
debris?
and things, this, of course, what I like about Wayne National Forest, it reminds me a whole lot of Canyon Boone National Forest. You'll have like farm areas and things like
right.
It's not just the forest itself. There's people live there. So like when we was following this one track line, it was like, my gosh, this is great, this is fantastic, and it run to I think about a half a dozen tree structures and stuff like that. But anyway, we were following this. It was beautiful, man. And then nothing.
Wow.
Could it have went up a tree?
Yeah,
I
was
don't know
just
what
thinking the same thing. Well, yeah.
But
that's
happened to us several times. So
yeah.
I don't know. Now again, I'm not talking about going into a lake or going up on a railroad property, on a railroad track or something like that, where you might have to go for miles and miles before you pick it up again, or something like that. I'm talking about where you're following a good track line. I'll tell you something else we found. We have found where mother, probably what we theorize is a mother, okay, with a young or a baby, because we have found two sets of tracks, and then we'll see where it looks like to us that the mother may have picked up the baby and carried it for a while and set it down again. So we found stuff like that too. So it's just I have to say this too. Like a lot of times, just like this, just about a month or two ago, about a month and a half ago, we went in an area. It took us 7 hours to get there, backpacking in, from the main, from the main hiking trail. Okay. And the only time we stopped to rest was to rehydrate. Okay, so a lot of these, people got to realize, man, that they have got to, they got to get into the woods, so they got to know how to navigate, and they got to know how to track, And if you like if you get on my Don Pete Willis Adventure page, I emphasize that a lot. And, because you don't want to get lost out there, but you just have to, I don't think people go, I think a lot of people just do a little car camping. They kind of just, they might fan out a little bit, maybe go down trails or maybe get off trail, maybe a couple hundred yards. And you might find stuff like that, but I think the reason for our success is that, we'll go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days or longer.
Right.
When we're out. And and I don't think most people do that at all. I don't, I think some of them do from what I'm reading. Some of them do, and I think most of them just, they kind of make like a, And I tell you something else too. We hardly ever have more than 2 to 4 people. Well, like when we go out, And again, we try to be as unobtrusive as we can be, and that type of thing. We don't go solo anymore because of the various areas that we've been into. Some of these areas, there's been reported, cougar sightings and all this sort of business, and I'm more afraid of a cougar than I am a grizzly bear. So,
yeah. Now we got them up here. I've seen them up here. Do you ever go armed when you go in the woods exploring?
I always go armed.
Okay.
I usually carry a SIG P220, 45 ACP, about 3-4 mags. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I usually carry. I got a 45 caliber high point, whatever. I usually
right. Well, this shoots 45 ACP.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
I carry a 1911. My 1911 is a 45, or I got a Glock 23 and 40 cal, and that's that holds 13 rounds, and I got 3 mags and a 30-round mag. I carry with that.
I hear you, man.
What?
You can't be too careful, man.
They may never hurt you. You know what? But I'm not going to take a chance on anything that lives in the woods, not going rogue, and for whatever reason coming after you for some. You just never know.
Right.
Well, you don't.
And plus, like down in the Smoky Mountains, I know you guys have probably been down there before, right?
Well,
no.
Have you ever hiked part of the Appalachian Trail?
Well, I know it runs right through. It runs right through here in Virginia. So basically, it's in my backyard. Right. Yeah, I guess you could say I have.
Yeah, I've done parts of it. I've got about 400. I do segments, and so far I've got like maybe 450 miles of it done. But but the thing is always that you run into some screwballs out there, man.
Yep, sure.
And we got one lady that Sherry. It's always out there. She does. She's got like, oh my God, she close to 200 bag nights a year is what she averages. So, but the thing is though, man, of course she's armed all the time. But just about everybody on my team is, I believe, stays armed and stuff. But you don't know what or who you're gonna run into out there.
We were just talking about that here not long ago because I'm in West Virginia and I'm not far from it. But in the D.C. area, there's 25 active serial killers working. What doesn't mean that one of them ain't walking up down that trail in the woods.
Right.
Just taking somebody by themselves out.
This class I took, one of the many. I've taken a lot of firearms classes and a lot of tactical pistol, rifle, shotgun classes. But this one particular class was taught by a FBI, a former FBI agent. He was telling us that at any given time, there's about 200 serial killers inside the United States.
Yep.
So that's
because we were talking about a lot of these Appalachian trail hikers. It's like I know a lot of people do it in groups, or pairs. Some do them, some do them solo. But I know there's a local restaurant here in the town nearby, and sometimes we go. A lot of old timers go in there to like to eat. And then you get your Appalachian hikers. They come in there for breakfast, whatever, and do whatever, fill up on their water and stuff. And I'm sure what I saw wasn't the only ones, but these are young girls doing it alone. Like, they're doing it in pairs. Right. But I was like, that's like an awful risk in it right there. Unless they're armed. These are girls that look like just came out of high school or college.
Right. Some of the pictures on my Don Peaked Wild Kentucky website.
Yeah.
Have you seen that yet?
I've gone through it. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
some of the pictures. I was looking at a lot of your
I got
outdoor wildlife pictures.
I got right. I got some great pictures of black bears
Mm.
that I've taken while backpacking in the Cherokee National Forest down in Tennessee, which is an awesome, great place, especially Carter County. I'll give y'all some counties if y'all want them. I mean, I won't tell you exactly where to go now. I mean, there are limits. But
I mean, West Virginia, Kentucky, North Carolina. I mean, give or take a few states up north I've been to before, but
right. But I have people contact me all the time, man. Can you tell me exactly where you was? I'm like, oh, come on, really, man. But I mean, we have researched Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, West Virginia, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia. Okay.
Awesome.
And just of course this is over a period of 12 years, but
right.
I've got some awesome counties here if you guys want to hear them.
Sure.
Places that. Okay, well, you go to Indiana, which is for all you Indiana people up there, man. You got a great area. You got to stay south, though. You got to be in southern Indiana, okay? And we have found so much in the way of tracks, structures, both timber structures and rock structures, and we've heard howls. Some of our best howls have been from southern Indiana, and what have you. But the Muscatatuck, well, I always get tongue tied when I say this name, but the Muscatatuck River and the East Fork of the White River, okay. That area is just awesome, and the Jackson County, Washington County, Perry County, Crawford, and Harrison counties are just great counties. In Kentucky, my own county of Jefferson County, okay, where I got a house up here in Jefferson County, is we found an area that's just absolutely awesome. Bullitt County is decent around the Salt River area. Ohio County, another place, of mine, is just, it's like the Bigfoot kingdom of Western Kentucky. Breckenridge County, Butler County, Edmonson County, Barron County, Hart County, Trigg County, Meade County, and in the east, Bell County, Laurel County, and Leslie County in Kentucky. Illinois, I've been to several places in Illinois, but I keep going back to the Shawnee National Forest. Okay, I found more. We have cataloged more evidence there than any other place in Illinois combined that we've gone to.
Well, let me ask you, just out of curiosity, have you ever done anything in Pennsylvania before?
No, we haven't. And you know what? We want to do that. I'm gonna retire at the end of this year. Okay. From my other job, from my security thing I'm doing. Okay.
Okay.
I do. What I do is, I told people this. I do high risk security in government buildings, installations, oil and gas installations, and protect high profile principals. And anyway, when I retire from that, then I plan a lot. I'm doing a lot of things, including what I got so much stuff going on, Daniel, man. We got so much. I got such a great team. I got such a great talented team. I know people get tired of me bragging about them and all that stuff, man, but they are just absolutely awesome. And they are all career people. Okay.
Awesome.
And they're all outdoors people. Many of them, including myself, have owned several small businesses. I've been successful in business. And I used to own my own gym, landscaping company, different things. But anyway, we're going to have this. We're going to have the largest, and I mean the very best, Bigfoot Dogman conference in May of next year.
Awesome. I was gonna get to that and let you talk about that if you want, but I'll tell you what. I want to interrupt before we get into any more. Because we're actually we're into our second half of the show, which is going to be more of an open discussion too. Because I have another fellow Kentucky Bigfoot researcher on the line with us. I'm going to bring him in as soon as we come back. I'm going to do roughly about a 2-minute intermission. If you guys want to run, get something to drink, use the bathroom, we'll be back in about roughly 2.5 minutes. So, man, Michael, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. A little tired, but I'm making it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Michael Cook.
Awesome.
Yes.
What's up, fat boy?
How's it going there, fatter boy?
Everything's beautiful.
You just call me beautiful.
That was an old joke there on that post he made online.
All right, and our guest is back here. Awesome. All right, welcome back, Mr. Don Peak.
How you doing?
All right. Yeah, Don, we got Michael Cook with us. Also, another Kentucky resident.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Hey, Don, how's
it
it going?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mike.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You don't remember meeting me up in Louisville at the Something in the Woods filming.
I remember you. Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Too. Good talking to you again.
Yeah, great talking to you too.
Awesome. Oh, what you guys were there when they were filming that? Something in the Woods?
No, we watched the movie itself. Yeah, it's a screening there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I thought we could continue this second half here. I was wondering if you wanted to continue on where we left off, Don, talking about next year's event of May of 2017.
Absolutely. Yeah, me and my team's been working on this for quite a while. We're going to have the news media there, and what have you. And we've already contacted and have been contacted by some of the heaviest hitters in Bigfoot research and Dogman research, by the way.
Awesome.
Okay. Now, in a few weeks, I'm going to give a short list of who, and you're going too, right, Daniel?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And
I'll be glad to. That'd be awesome.
What we're going to do is going to be 10 hours for 2 days. Okay. And these guys, these field researchers, are going to go ahead and show their evidence, and my team itself too will go up there and show our evidence, and we're going to have it's going to be awesome. We're going to have some fact-filled. It's going to be a scientific thing. I got several people who's out of the country right now that told me that if they could make it, they will be there.
Oh,
okay?
Wow.
So I'm
going to try to get there too.
Yeah. So
I'll be there.
We're not going to make any money on
Don.
it. Okay, great. We're not going to make any money on this thing. We're going to, as a matter of fact, anything that we make over the the rent for the building, okay, will be divided up amongst the people that's paid to get in. So I mean, it's and I called some flack for not having any vendors there, and the thing is hey, I got Bigfoot T-shirts and I got Bigfoot beer mugs and I got stuff like that, and everybody on my team does. But the thing is that this is strictly going to be and people want to do that. They can go to just any other conference and do that. You know what I'm saying? But the whole thing to this thing is we are trying to make this a fact-finding. We want to know what people think. We want to know their theories, and and it's very interesting, to see what other people have, what kind of research they've come up with, that type of thing, and hopefully it sheds more light the Bigfoot and the Dogman. So it ought to be a great it'll be a great event. I promise you it'll be a great event.
Oh, here's a question for you. Now, for as far as any attendees that might, that will be attending, say, would we be allowed to film the event for our own personal reasons, like for whatever reason?
Absolutely.
Right.
Matter of fact, we're gonna. I got a guy. It's a very good friend of ours, a very good friend of the team. That's what he does for a living is videotape. And and I was talking to him about the possibility of taping the whole thing. But if you guys want to tape it, that's great.
Okay.
And it's just like I said, I want the very best people there. I want I want them to come up and present what they got. Everybody, I want real people. I don't want TV personalities. You know what I'm saying? I want people that's really out there.
Right.
I've had up to my eyes with TV personalities.
Well, Mike, I
right.
cut you out.
So I want people that's really out there. That's the grunts that are really out there doing the footwork. That like my team.
Right.
And I know you all the same way. We everything we do is out of our own pocket.
Right. Exactly.
And what have you. So I think it'd be good to share some things. There's a lot of things that we haven't put on Facebook or any place. Okay. So I was looking through stuff the other day. We've taken almost 3,000 photographs.
Wow.
Over all these years of things. Yeah. So and there's a lot of other things that are going to be brought to light that we haven't shared yet, and hopefully with these other groups and team leaders and what have you, that they'll be able to bring a lot of things to light too. So that's what we want to do.
Awesome.
I got into this thing 12 years ago. And I know there's been people in it for far longer than me, but the thing is, I don't, half anything. I do it all the way. That's me. That's just me. And
Don, I'll tell you what. You are a name that's been brought up several times around myself and my peers, and we all respect you for what you do, and we We absolutely love looking at your videos, your pictures and everything. And I've always said, Don's the kind of guy, he's not going to put everything out there on Facebook or social media. He's going to leave something to the imagination to show in person.
Well, some stuff even blows me away.
I can totally agree with you on that, Don. Daniel and I talked on the phone the other day for well over an hour about this, and I think I even sent you a message on Facebook about 3 or 4 days ago with my resume.
Right.
But the thing about it is, if you put everything out there, then people lose interest.
Right.
And
absolutely,
they're like, well, it's the same thing over and over and over again. It's just like what we've discussed on this show. I mean, you can go back and find the same footprint every day until it fades away.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Yep.
But with what you're doing with this Dogman Bigfoot convention, expo, conference, whatever you want to coin it as, is a tremendous idea, and have the everyday man as the stars, not the TV personalities. And I heard you, Daniel, counts me out. I'm not a TV personality, thank you.
Well, oh no, that wasn't me. That was Shaky that said that.
Oh, Shaky. Sorry, Shaky. My biggest fan, like literally, my 450-pound fan. That's my biggest fan.
Amen, brother. I love you. And not the way Victor does. I just love you.
I promise, Shaky, I will sign your breast for you whenever I see you in person.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Don, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want to go into it, Don, but let me ask you something. What have you found, or what do you think Dogman is, and what you have learned of it?
Man,
if you don't
we're
want to
just
go into it yet, that's fine.
Well, we're just getting into that, and the only thing that we found is we found some weird tracks. And so what I did, I went ahead, I put, I can't remember what I put, one or two of the best pictures up there, let me see. But, and then I had people say that, people who were into the Dogman thing, because I'm in groups with, the Dogman people too, And I asked them a while back, I said, okay, is this a Dogman track? Because I didn't know. But the thing is, though, is that I have never seen a track like it, okay? And so I went ahead and put it up there, and most of them, probably I'd say 80% of them said, yes, it was. Now, the particular area where these tracks were found at, there was a railroad crew that was, coming around the bend, okay, at night, and the lights hit this werewolf-like creature. They was the conductor was telling me, and all three of the railroad crew seen it as it run across the tracks. Okay. Now the thing is too, I was in a little, it's like a hardware general type store there too in the same county. Now this is here in Kentucky. Okay. And they were telling me there that one of the, I think it was the lady that owned the store, her son had seen one. And see, the thing was this, is that I didn't tell her about the train crew. Okay? So, I mean, so I had two, stories that kind of matched up there, and they were about, the store was about maybe 2 miles or so from where the railroad crew seen the same creature, and this is where we found the tracks, close, not exactly there, but within that area there, you see. So are they? I don't know, but like I say, we just started getting into the Dogman thing, so but it's pretty fascinating, and we're gonna get into some more things, but I had a lady the other day call me about a Thunderbird. That she thought she seen. She said this thing was huge, and was flying over in over I think it was Carter County in Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee. But
awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, I can't get into everything. I mean, I would like to. I can't get into everything.
Right. Hey, well, could I go ahead and interrupt you, gentlemen, real quick? We got a couple more callers in here, and one of them is Miss J Bird. Also, her name's Jennifer. She goes by J Bird on Facebook. She missed us on the last show. She's actually here to share some information. I'm going to bring her in, and we also have another caller that just popped on, so we're going to get them in here too. So I want to get Jennifer on here and see what kind of information she has to share with us this week. Hey, Jennifer, you're live on Squatch Zone Radio. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. And it's Janice,
awesome.
But that's okay.
Janice, I'm sorry. I thought it was Jennifer.
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
One thing, she got a voice to melt me, man. Good God, she sounds good.
Oh, I've been told that. But that's all right. We're talking about Bigfoot tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Watch on.
Just before I do this, it's kind of just a goofy thing I did for tonight. But if y'all have any, if you see anything that's interesting in the way of sightings or even older records or anything that you want to send a clue to me on about, if you'll back message me on Facebook, it's JBird, JBIRD space Bly, BLY. Just any hints or any suggestions or anything, something you want to hear, just kind of different for a little spot on the show. If you just let me know, I'll do it. Okay.
Well, JBird, Michael Cook here. by the way.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, honey. Yeah, God, Jake, you're right. That's,
oh, my God.
No, what I was going to tell you, though, is I just, my team, the Kentucky Sasquatch team, we just disbanded. And I'm not taking any more sighting reports. I'm going strictly field research. And I have 356 sighting reports.
Nice.
I don't care one bit to hand over to you if you want to look through them.
Oh, that might be nice. All right. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Now,
there you go.
You're in Indianapolis or Kentucky. Where are you?
I'm out of Lexington, Kentucky. My main area of research is far southeast Kentucky, but I deal with all of Kentucky.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm in Spencer, West Virginia right now. So.
Amen. West Virginia.
I know. I left Richmond, Virginia. A divorce. I left Richmond, Virginia after almost 30 years, and I really wanted to settle up here. This is where I want to be for the rest of my life.
Yeah, Richmond. That's like an hour and a half east of me.
It's just too many people. Just I don't know. I want to be away from so many people. So anyway, and it's too close to the Pentagon, too close to other areas. I just don't want to be around anymore. But anyway, so what I did was I like to write, but I don't consider myself good at it. But if it's something I'm passionate about, I just like to, say what's on my mind. So I thought tonight, instead of doing a report on a sighting, I would just do this little thing I wrote, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of okay. It's just okay. But anyway, I wanted y'all to hear it. So ready? And then I'll just sign off after that. Okay. All right. Hold on. I wish there were respect among all Sasquatch research groups. I really do. I wish research groups did their work based on a desire to discover, protect, respect, and honor this elusive creature who graces our planet. I wish the truth could be validated and shared with the public, but only if or when the public is ready and with no bloodthirst to commit harm to this creature. I wish that my dream of witnessing Sasquatch disclosure as a kid could be realized before my life is done. I wish the powers that be and the haters would cease their games and acknowledge some of the best research and proof of existence. I wish that not only this truth, but many others may have light shed upon them. I am a dreamer and a truth seeker, and always have been. And I wish above all that this planet we call Earth can become more peaceable and loving. And those, my friends, are my wishes, and so I will continue to strive for these outcomes. Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate the time.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you very much for that. That was great. Yeah.
Well, that's how I feel about what y'all do, and there are other areas that I follow too, more alternative news and conspiracies. I mean, I look at a little bit of everything, and the things that are true, there's so much effort to hide them from the public, and this is a really big natural one, and it's just, I don't know, it's just there's more out there than there used to be, but I don't know, it's just disappointing. By this time we should be doing better together. So anyway,
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Get past our egos, and I don't know. But anyway.
Well, that's one big reason why the Kentucky Sasquatch team is no more.
Right?
No matter how much evidence you deliver, people who you think are your peers and your friends will be the first ones to go against you, and they'll call you names. They'll call you hoaxers and liars and attention seekers and this and that when you're just trying to bring to light, evidence of this creature and hopefully bring a few people in that's interested in this. But with my team, I love my guys and we're all still friends. There's nothing they done, but I think we're better off as solo researchers, and they can
Yeah.
take reports all they want. I will listen to anyone who's had a sighting, but as far as taking the time and filing it anymore, it's not my game anymore. I'm strictly field research, and I'll do everything in my power to learn about these
Can I ask
creatures.
you a question?
Yes.
You were the one that was talking at the beginning of the show about seeing a Sasquatch face to face, and you saw the human-like features and all. Weren't you the one?
That's Don.
Oh, that was Dawn, our
that
guest.
was me. That was me.
Okay. Well, anyway, what? How did? I mean, did you just were you just so stunned you couldn't think when you saw that human-like face? I can't even imagine what that was like.
Well, like I said, like before that even happened, I always pictured because of the things you see on TV, the shows you see on TV on the History Channel. I always thought if there was one that did exist, it would look like a big silverback gorilla on steroids. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
But when I seen that, okay.
Yeah.
And I was so close to. I mean, I could even see the green eyes.
Oh.
So I mean, but the thing is this: when people were trying to tell me that these things were apes, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right.
I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like they didn't even hear what I said. It was like, well, you've seen three tree stumps. You've seen three. I said, did you just did you not hear what I'm telling you? I'm 30 feet away from these things. I mean, it's such ridiculous. I mean, I'm like, and that's why I decided, I'm not going to get any answers here. I'm not going to get what I know. Because they don't know.
Right.
That's
they
true,
don't know.
and no one can possibly know unless it happens to them. That's the only thing I can come up with.
Right. So because of my background, and because of the people that I did know that spent, the majority of their time in the outdoors, and several of them who make their living in the outdoors, I grouped this team together. And it takes people that knows what they're looking at. The thing is like when I tell people, if you don't, everybody's been out in the woods and seen things you're not sure of. But that's why I carry a pair of binoculars. That's why we carry, like a spotting scope. You know what I'm saying? These people get so carried away with all these high-tech toys. It's like, come on. Some of this stuff is like, a couple 100-year technology, but you know what? It works. It's just
that's true.
It's just incredible what every time I log on to some but not every time, but a lot of times I log on to these things. It's like, okay, man, I got a new $1,000 FLIR, whatever, or I got this drone I'm going to launch, or I mean, come on, learn how to track, learn how to hunt. Learn how to use your binoculars. That's what you got to do. You got to get out in the woods. You can't just car cam. You got to get out there and get with the program.
Right.
And but until people do that, okay, you're going to have this. You're not going to go nowhere in this. You're not going to go anywhere. You're going to have the same stuff. You're going to have this, that, and the other thing. It's like I said. I fully appreciate the Bigfoot. Okay, I love them. To me, they are the ultimate survivalists. They are the ultimate wilderness survivalists. I don't see how they do what they do. I mean, this is incredible.
Ask you, I was going to ask you, do you think their intelligence level is above ours?
I think this. Okay, I think that they have an instinct, but I believe that they have a gift of thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I think that there's a lot of things that go through my mind. My eyes actually tear up, when I think about them. They are they could be so ferocious if they wanted to be.
Mhm.
And because of their sheer size, mass, and strength. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, and who's to say that they haven't been at times, you know? You see what I'm saying?
There could be various spots. Who knows? I mean, it could be
now,
like,
we have
like
actually,
humans.
now,
Some of us.
this may surprise you, but we have actually found possible evidence of bear predation, okay? Not just deer, okay, but bear predation that might possibly be from Bigfoot. But I don't know. Again, the jury's still out on this. But it wouldn't surprise me. You know, if you're, a black bear, 200, 300, 400, 500 pounds. 500-pound black bear is a big black bear, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But compared to the size and the strength that a fully adult Bigfoot would have, I mean, they could rip a black bear to pieces. So, and so I mean, there's been reports of them taking down elk, things like that, just different things out west, and I'm just totally amazed at them. I'm just totally amazed at them, and I seen a photograph the other day. Well, not a photograph, but I seen a picture the other day. It was really neat, and I had this Bigfoot, and he was standing on this mountain, big, powerful Bigfoot, right? And on his finger, he's got a butterfly. But I just picture them as, trying to survive, trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? And, that's something else, too. I'm not really sure. Last year I made a statement that I believe that there's a Bigfoot population explosion. Now, the thing is, what I based that on was, for years, I heard that, there's, 100, 200, or 300 Bigfoot on the continent, the North American continent. And what we was finding was just the exact opposite. We were finding possible nurseries. We were finding, tree structures, rock structures, track lines all over the place. Howls. We were hearing howls. There's certainly more. I believe there's certainly more Bigfoot in the state of Kentucky than there are cougar. We have found some cougar tracks, in a couple of counties that we've been in, and cougar scat. Okay, but what I'm saying is that I don't know if there's 50,000. I've heard estimates of 50,000 Bigfoot in the United States. I don't know if there's that many, but there's certainly a whole lot more than just a few hundred.
Well, then they should be able to register and vote in the presidential election then.
Well, I would be a write-in candidate, honey.
I'm telling you. They should have a say.
Well, Don, you mentioned something a minute ago about about people using drones and FLIRs and this and that. And, just because a lot of people have asked me, and, I had a team from 2011 till, just a few days ago, but, people have asked me, well, what kind of technology do you have? I got a Canon digital camera. It's very nice. It costs a few $100. Cell phone, that's, a couple $100. But when it comes down to it, man, I'm a working man. And like you said earlier, we're all working people. It's all on our dimes. And you gotta think, man, and I tell people the same thing. You can spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Go look at a FLIR, one of the FLIRs that they use off of one of the TV shows. Go look at that on Amazon or eBay or something. It's going to run you a couple of grand, if not more. And for me, a couple of grand would, that's a monthly payday, but the thing about it is it started with, it didn't start with this, but some of the most credible evidence happened right out in California with a 33-millimeter camera.
Right. Too, if you'll notice that the people that's got all the high-tech stuff, they're just as confused when they use it. than they are if they don't use it. They go out there with all the, and I use a lot of night optics, and and the work that I've done all over. You know what I'm saying? Being a security operator and all that. But the thing is, though, is that most of these people don't know what they're looking at when they're using them. I'd like to teach a class on how to use them, for these people.
Yeah.
Because I can tell that most of these people don't know how to use what they've got. So
right.
I mean, but
hey, that's an idea for maybe like a YouTube show or a YouTube like maybe post a video. I might learn something from it because I have 2 night vision, 3 technically, but I only consider 2 because they're my more expensive ones. but and then I have a FLIR, but mine's made for my phone. It's the FLIR 1, which it works within up to roughly 75 yards if you got a clear view. But I did some field test videos. Because even with these devices, my night vision devices. It takes time to get used to them, to perfect them, how to focus them, and how to use them during different conditions. And there's a lot of things, I've learned a lot on my own. I'm sure there's a lot more I can learn myself, But, I'm happy with the equipment I got. I don't use it all the time when I'm out there, Like what you were saying, Don, learn to use, we got to get out there, use our own natural tools more or less,
Right.
But, and I like to play around with my stuff here and there. I don't always think about bringing them out,
right.
Because something else you mentioned earlier, kind of along the lines of what I'll bring up here. I can't remember exactly a quote what you were talking about, but it was referring to when you're in moments or situations where like if you're having an encounter, those kind of moments, you don't think about bringing out your best camera that that's in your backpack or something, along that. Kind of like the situation back in 2014, we had a really awesome encounter, and on one of the subjects that we were viewing, we were able to make out the head movement as it turned its head. There was you could see the silhouette, and the thing is, me and Tracy Arnold, we both had night vision in our backpacks. Not one time did we think about even bringing them out there, till we actually got back to camp. And we were trying to debunk the situation, try to rule out what did we see? Is that what we were really seeing? And then the thought was, well, we could have brought out a night vision, but we cracked up laughing. Like, what the heck was wrong with us? So you don't think about those situations when you're in them. You're in a different state of mind.
Right, because things happen, and it takes you off guard. And it's just, or surprises you and stuff. We've had rocks thrown at us, and we had a couple of tree limbs thrown at us before.
Right.
And that takes you by surprise too. I mean, that's pretty incredible stuff. And
is that their way of saying? Is that their way of saying it's time to leave?
That's a way of telling me I've got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just It's just that type of
like last call for alcohol. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
That's right. Yeah, I used to bounce in a lot. I used to bounce in a lot of nightclubs and what have you. I used to tell people, you got to go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, man. but yeah, I'll tell you, man. But
they'll allow you to interact and learn as much as they want you to. When it's time, you get that uneasy feeling, and you have stuff thrown at you. Yeah, it is time to go. I mean, you don't want to overstay your welcome.
Right.
And as far as attacks go, I don't know if there's ever been a human attack, but I have my own theories about missing hawkers and this and that. But
I'm a big fan of David Paulides. Okay.
You are.
I'm a big fan of David Paulides. Yeah. I read all of his books. So I guess it's because he used to be a cop and all that sort of business. But the thing is,
has a documentary coming out.
Yeah, he's
has
very
a documentary
thorough.
coming out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there's a lot of things that is unexplained about these things. I have so many things bouncing around in my head, so many thoughts, about these, about them, and it's just
you're not by yourself.
Yeah, and it's sometimes I lay awake at night. I'm obsessed. I'll be laying awake at night thinking about these things, and wondering about this and wondering about that, and it just I don't know. I just have absolute total respect for the Bigfoot, and in a way I'm afraid of him in a way, but it's a healthy fear. Go ahead, hon. What you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask. Did you say that you hike alone?
Oh,
you guys go
I
out
used
alone?
to, but see, we used to do that a lot. But because of the cougars in some of the areas that we go into, we made a team decision a few months ago that we should go at least for 2. But
That's
now,
smart.
like I said, we try to be as very unintrusive as we can be. We hardly ever take more than 4 people with us.
Well, it's just after reading one of David Paulides' books, I have some property here in West Virginia, and it's about 52 acres, and it's really very hilly and rocky, and a really nice shaded canopy and all. But I would roam those hills by myself, and then I read one of his books, and I don't want to go out there by myself.
No, I know. We got a lady on the team that's out there. That used to be out there all the time like that. And I tell her, I say, man, are you insane? But because she's been doing that for years. But
Well, the big thing is if somebody gets hurt, if you get hurt, you can't, and you maybe can't call for help. You just
right. Well, that's true. Yeah, and I thought about getting a satellite phone. Because a lot of places where I go, we have absolutely no service at all with cell phones. So it's just you're on your own.
In the main area.
Yeah, but I always tell people where I'm going and estimated time of arrival and where we're headed and all that sort of business. Everything we do is well planned out. We don't just throw ourselves into an area. We may investigate an area for maybe 3 or 4 months before we finally go in. And every time we go in, it doesn't mean we're going to find anything. I'd say 8 out of 10 times we don't find anything, which is very discouraging because you go through a lot of expense and time and everything else, and you don't find anything. I have many times I have done that. I've just gone in for days at a time and not found a thing.
Wow.
So we're really excited when we do find things, and like somebody asked me the other day. They said, "Well, how do you know that Bigfoot did this?" And I'm like, really? Following track lines with the feet is like 5-6 times bigger than mine. Okay. They got trees that like telephone poles, that drug here and there. Some of them are pulled out by the roots. Come on, and they had no idea. Of course, you're not supposed to find. I've run into people like that too. You're not supposed to find anything. If you do, it's like, oh my God, you ain't supposed to find anything. That don't exist. That kind of thing. I've run into so-called researchers like that. But like if they would go out there, of course, there's a lot of armchair people too. The armchair experts. I call them TV experts. Everything they know, they found on TV. And that's about it.
I won't watch any of that. I just won't do it.
This one show I stopped watching about 3.5, 4 years ago. And the other day I watched it for the first time, and I don't know how, it's been about 3 or 4 years. And my Lord, I couldn't believe it, man. They were talking about Bigfoot hunting for deer. That's one of the first things that we found out. That's one of the first things that we found out was that Bigfoot they were they're they're carnivores. They eat meat, as well as gather things, and we would scratch our heads. We were talking. That's just 11, 12 years ago. We were saying, why isn't any of this? Why don't these people know this? Because every time you turn on the TV and watch one of these shows, they eat the berries, they get the crawfish out of the creek, and all this sort of business. But they wasn't saying that they were bringing down deer or elk or anything else. But that was one of the first things that we found out, that these things actually hunt and eat meat. And it was like, it's incredible. Where are these people been at?
I think it's what they want the public to know, or with some of those shows.
I think personally,
honestly, go ahead.
Personally, I think they relate them too much to known primates, gorillas, and
right. I do too.
I think that they, like you said earlier, everybody that goes into bigfooting has this general idea that these things are, like you said, a silverback gorilla on steroids. The Bigfoot I saw did not look like that. He was tall and kind of lanky. I mean, he was muscular. He was built, but as far as some of the pictures people have drawn, no.
Right.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Animal, nevertheless.
Yeah, now I've heard several reports, and now, as far as that people relating both the human features, both the primate-like features. Now, as far as features, apart from features, I've, a lot of the stuff, and I know a lot of you guys have, and for viewers or anyone who's followed a lot of what I speak about and share, they know I use as far as the behaviors and stuff. They know I do a lot of comparisons with a lot of things, especially our known primates. Now, I do a big comparison because, behaviors that our known primates are common for, a lot of people experiencing that here amongst our, are here, in our own forest. So I mean, as far as behaviors and everything, I honestly believe they have the same common behaviors, but what do they mean the same thing? That's the thing. That's a question right there that really kind of ponder. But then again, on the other hand, as far as appearances and stuff like that, I've heard from both human and primate features.
If I had seen them from a greater distance and seen their back, where I couldn't have seen their face,
right?
Then I might be like a lot of people and say, "Oh, they're giant apes."
Yeah.
But after seeing the face up close, there's just no way, and I just would not accept that. There's no way, and that's what, that's what. But I think all that's changing. I think a lot of these, like now they're talking, like most of these people now, the great ape people are now saying that, they do eat meat, that they're human hybrids or they're humanoids, and things like that. Hominids.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that a lot of that's changing, and I'm glad, because all that stuff for like 6 decades was wrong, absolutely wrong. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so against these TV personalities, because they've been wrong for decades, and now they're turning around. Of course, I predicted that several years ago, that they would turn around because there's so much evidence to the contrary.
So,
it's mostly theory, folks. I mean,
I don't know.
We all have our theories, and a few select of us are going to be right about this. Until we get extensive studies into the field and find a population of these creatures that we can film, we can study on a somewhat daily basis that would allow us to do this without going to the extreme of killing one, capturing one, anything like that. But study these creatures in their natural habitat, much like we did the gorillas in the Congo. And,
real habituation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You cannot study a creature naturally behind bars. You
Right.
can't do it. It's not possible.
If it would even
No.
live.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult with them because they don't want to be found, and and I'll tell you what, man, they are very hard to find. I mean,
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a blessing. It is a blessing and a curse to have a sighting, because it's a blessing that these creatures and God allows you to see this. However, it's a curse because it consumes you so much that you spend, like me, 16 years of your life studying something that everybody thinks you're crazy about.
Yeah, it blows your mind. It's just like, when I got back, I kept running the whole thing over in my head. It was like maybe being a kid and seeing an elephant for the first time. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it is so incredible. And so, but they could have killed me easily.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt in my mind that if they had wanted to, they could have killed me with one of them rocks. So, I mean, and who's to know? I mean, if I disappeared, I might have wound up in one of David Paulides' 411 books. but and nobody would have been for the wiser. But I mean, but the fact is they didn't. So I mean, so I don't know. It's pretty amazing. I
guess I'm gonna be one of the hard heads.
Before I go into my next,
I'm sorry. That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Before I go into my next question, I just want to let viewers know. After 2 minutes here, we will be going off air for public viewers, but be sure to watch the upload or the archives, because you're going to miss the last 20 minutes. We do go on for another 20 minutes after the program goes off air publicly. I just want to
really.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, it just gave me the warning. I'm watching the time right here. After it goes off air, it still records for another 20 minutes. So, yeah, because I usually download this to my and upload it to my YouTube channel. So viewers, if you haven't done so, subscribe to the YouTube channel ECBRO 98. We'll have this uploaded later, and it's also right here on Blog Talk Radio through my radio show, Squatch Radio. You can check out. This is episode number 8. So, I want to bring in our next caller. I'm not sure who it is, but they've been listening. Kind of neglecting them, but just I kind of got in. Oh, never mind. Somebody just hung up. Well, never mind. That was Janice. She just hung up. I was like, who's that? But so let me bring this caller in real quick. Well, caller, you're live on Squatch Radio. Who are we speaking with?
This is Cliff in California.
Oh, how you doing? I know you just been listening in. I don't know if you had any questions for the guest or anyone else on the radio show.
Well, yeah, I was thinking I might want to hang up because I thought you were going off the air. But, yeah, I'm Nincompoop. You might know me better as that.
Oh, hey, Nincompoop. Hey, Shaky, we got Nincompoop here. Wow, so that's awesome. We get to speak to you instead of seeing you comment on our live YouTube shows all the time.
Now, there's a voice for radio. Listen to that.
I know, you got a deep voice.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
You're right. No. Hey, I had a couple of experiences. Well, yeah, it was great to meet you. I was just trying to hurry this in because your guests are great. They're great.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you. As a boy, I coon hunted a lot. That was back in the 60s. I was born in 1960. And once, maybe I was 8 or 9, I think I saw something in a pack of coyotes when we were, maybe some kind of a dog or a person, maybe a Bigfoot even. Okay. And then here goes another one. When I was maybe 17, that was in about 77, 76, maybe, I came across a structure of like a home, and been something like you or I would have built if we were stuck out in the forest. Not these sticks that are leaning on the trees. That's for sure. This was a real deal. And I came up to the side of it. It looked like a giant apostrophe mark. You know what I mean? I'm a giant. I came up to the side of it when I first found it, and I was hunting small game. Had a shotgun in my hands, and I'm walking, and I stumbled. It was like a wall in front of me that you couldn't see through it. I was in the middle of manzanita bush, and I don't know if you know what that is, but all of a sudden I came onto this wall, and it was like impenetrable. So and I heard a grunt from in there, and I'm like 5 feet away from where this grunt is, and it's running, and I can hear, like, you know when you take a stick and you run it on a fence, on a wooden fence?
Oh, yeah.
Right. I hear that and kind of a noise coming out of there, and it's grunt. I thought it was a big deer, and his antlers were dragging on branches. Well, a couple of days later, I went back around there, and I found the entrance. Well, it was probably 5 foot high, the entrance, and it was really buried. It wasn't far from the road, but it was hard to find. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get the pictures, and I'm gonna get a big old buck in there, right? Well, I go to step down to look in there, and you can't see the end of it. It's kind of a curve off to the right from where I'm standing. It curved to the right, and that just sent a chill down my spine, you know, because you couldn't see the end of this thing. So I come in there with shotgun, pointing in there, and nothing happened. There's nothing in there. So I'm slowly going in there, and then when I get to the end, what the end is a round circle around a dead roasted pine tree, and all the walls were built out of, like, you know how lower pine branches will bend naturally. They'll just kind of sag, and then when they fall, they're all kind of shaped the same. Well, all the walls of this thing were built with those. And I mean, you could walk right up. I was standing right there. I couldn't see the thing, but I heard it. I'm pretty sure that was. I didn't believe it was for my whole life until a couple of years ago, until I found a picture that I had took, and I thought I saw something in it. And I started researching on YouTube, found you guys, other people, you know, found some hoaxers and stuff. Finally found you. Well, that's about it, you know.
Hey, Nick and Poop, this is Michael Cook. I was listening to you there, and it dawned on me that you were one of the people that commented the most on Duke's thing that I was on the World Bigfoot Radio. I'd like to talk to you more about your coon hunting experiences and stuff. If you could send me a friend request, that would be awesome, man.
He's on Facebook.
I'm only on YouTube. I got a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you could probably find each other on Google Plus.
I don't.
Okay, yeah. He's more intelligent than all of us.
Huh?
I said you're more intelligent than all of us. You ain't on Facebook. We're the bunch of dummies on Facebook.
Hey. My kids and grandkids are. You know, not me.
Facebook is something else.
Well, hey, maybe one day we'll see you on there, Cliff. I mean,
you'll see Junior on there, but not me.
Yeah.
Hey, I was going to tell Shaky, man, I'm going to leave those bullfrogs alone, okay?
Come on, man. I want some legs. I want some frog legs.
Do you?
Yeah, frog legs. I'll hook.
Yeah, man.
Kill
we got
some frog legs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a question I wanted to ask I wanted to ask Don. It's related to as far as we were talking about you know the different features and the possible maybe the type of species Sasquatch might be. Um, Now, do you believe it's a possibility that they might be just a species all of their own in a different category, or?
I do. Well, okay. I lean towards the theory that they're human hybrids.
Right.
That's what I believe. That.
Okay.
Judging from what I see and what have you, just that's what I think.
Okay.
My opinion.
All right. Yeah, because I was just curious on how you looked at that, because I mean, I understood. I very do. I mean, I understand clearly as far as how what you were saying about as far as them not being primates or related to the primates in any way versus being more human. I know sometimes some of us I know we think or believe different with different theories. I know some of the stuff, the way I put stuff, I know people twisting my words around. I could name one individual who says I'm saying they are the same as our known primates. I'm not saying that Sasquatch is a known primate. I just want to throw that out there because there is a person out there that's saying that's what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying that, but I compare and relate them to, I think that's safe to say, by relating them, comparing them. What's that?
They're definitely a primate. There's no, we're primates. As humans, we're primates. So they're definitely a primate of some kind.
There's so many theories, like I know there's a lot of people that think they're the Nephilim, or they think that that they mated with humans mated with angels and all this sort of business. I don't know. There's other people that think that believe that thousands of years ago that some unknown creature was close enough to humans that they mated with the humans, and I've talked to other people that believe that it's a UFO thing,
right.
it's some kind of a genetic experiment, and all that. But again, I have found those structures that can be, that would be seen from the sky. So I don't know. And then there's also the paranormal aspect. I've had people tell me that, well, there's what do you call it, time warps, and they come in and out of different dimensions and all this sort of business, But from what I've seen, they're flesh and blood. They're,
Amen.
They're just, well, the thing is though, is they exist just like we do.
Right.
And I mean, my God, they leave tracks behind and stuff, So I mean, just and they have babies. I've seen smaller tracks, So
yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, it's funny you bring up paranormal because as of next week, we have one of our annual ECBRO camping expeditions, and one of the individuals, there's a couple that's coming up, and this is going to be interesting. So we never had anyone that was involved with paranormal that wants to participate with us. Well, we got a couple. They have their own paranormal investigation team, and they want to get involved with Bigfoot. They want to check out the Bigfoot scene. So, yeah, they're going to be joining us next week because we'll be out there September 1st through the 6th. And so I'm anxious to know, what they might experience or what they might feel about the whole situation, because the location we're going to be in, it's, my area is very large. It's all part of a, the George Washington National Forest that runs up through here in Virginia. And, I have areas, I don't have one tight little spot. I have what I break it down in zones, but there's specific areas I like to pay a special close attention to where I've received activity of various kinds. So, and right where we're going to be camping, kind of like what you were talking about, you don't really go out and do the night, ops thing. I always enjoy, this is the way I look at it. I enjoy just staying right there at camp, just enjoying fellowship, listening, what might come about, because I've experienced quite a bit just from camp, so, but yeah, it's interesting what might turn out next week,
Sure.
with our attendees. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's right, man. The Dogman thing. I'm like I said, I'm trying to get more into the Dogman, and you hear all kinds of different theories on that too. And
I got one of them too.
You do? And some of them think it's a type of Bigfoot. Some of them think that it's a lycanthrope, that changes back and forth, just different things, and it's pretty fascinating just getting into it and everything like that. But it's just I've talked to some some pretty good witnesses, man, that swear up and down that they've seen these things, and matter of fact, there's when I was down in northeastern Georgia doing the Bigfoot thing, I run into a lady that worked at the University of Georgia by accident, and she showed me several pictures that she took when her and her kids was on vacation a couple of years earlier, and it was 3 dogmen in a creek that she took from a bridge. And they were very, very clear pictures. And that kind of blew my mind, too. So, I mean, it just, they look like big wolves, I mean, in the pictures, and what have you, with almost like human-like hands. But, I mean, it's, talking to people like that have seen somebody. I'm not one of these people that say, well, you didn't see that, because I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And,
they show me a picture.
I don't know why she would Photoshop anything like that, but I mean, it was pretty wild. So,
yeah, I mean, because you see more pictures of alleged Bigfoot photos floating around social media. I mean, and then you have, some people might draw pictures. When it comes to the Dogman, this is one thing I've noticed. I've been, I'll be honest with you, and I had the subject of Dogman trying to push on me, like, as far as to believe in it. And the thing is, I was like, I don't believe in it, but at the same time, being a Bigfoot researcher, and I do consider and look into other cryptids, because people like to share stuff with me. I was like, okay, cool, and I don't throw it out because you don't know. And the thing is, until I see something that's more, leaning towards that existence, I can't say, well, that it does. Because, I see people picture, the only photos I see posted of, to me, maybe I've overlooked, but the only thing I see related to Dogman, that people are relating to Dogman, are these very large canine tracks. Well, people don't realize there's very large wolves. So there is large canine. And some people don't understand.
Large dogs, too.
Right. And feline, like cats, mountain lions, cougars, people don't realize their tracks are often mistaken as canine tracks as well. I've seen that a lot.
Hey, there's room for you to hide, man. There's plenty of space.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want this is real important.
Go ahead. Yeah.
There was a guy who did a study about all the trail cams that were sold and have been sold and will be sold until a certain amount of time in the future. And they said 1% of the forest will be covered when they get those sold. 1%.
Right. Absolutely. I've said that all the time. All along. There's so much of the forest that you don't see. That if you just stay on the trails, or if you just so like you set up a trail cam on I've set up trail cams. I have done that. Okay, get a lot of picture of deer, foxes, coyotes, dogs, and even feral cats. So I mean, just I don't know. Of course, you see these pictures that people have taken from trail cams that are kind of strange, but nothing really definitive on anything, But
well, there's a whole bunch of places that aren't covered. And if you're catching feral cats and feral dogs, you're not very deep in the woods.
No, what I'm talking about is like they got a forest up here called Jefferson Forest, where in Jefferson County, it's 6,500 acres. Okay, now just for the heck of it, I went ahead and set up some trail cams up there. Okay,
just shit they work.
I had deer, fox, feral cats, dogs, just about everything. Comes crawling through these areas where I put up these trail cams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, but it's just, I don't know. I've never got anything off trail cams that I just never have got anything off trail cams related to Bigfoot or Dogman or anything like that.
Well,
yeah,
most just like this recent thing over social media is this trail cam that they claimed had been ripped off a tree, and Bigfoot was trying to bury it. A friend of mine posted that the other day, and this is what I was telling Daniel the other day on the phone, personal conversation. In order to understand what you're doing, you need to look at the anatomy. The main thing we find is footprints. So study what you already know about feet. And in one still photograph, I saw that this is a bear. And people are going crazy over it. No, it's not a bear. I said it was a black bear. Oh, it's red.
Yeah.
It's brown. Well, just because it's a black bear don't mean it's black.
Yeah.
That's right.
They do come in different colors, but the foot, the angle of the foot is all wrong to be a primate.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a trail camera ripped off a tree one time before, but luckily it was still attached. It was hanging down, ripped open though. Actually, after viewing the footage, I had a couple blurry images. Apparently, whatever it was too close to it, and it was breathing on, and it was filming up the image. So, kind of giving that foggy film. But after viewing the other wildlife I did capture on it, besides a couple deer, I had, a couple coyotes. And then if you look to the far right, I had like a few little tiny bear cubs on there. So what that tell me? Well, Mama Bear saw the infrared on that camera and got pissed off. Yeah. So,
real quick before we end, I've got a couple of projects coming up. Tomorrow I will be doing a footprint casting educational video, and guaranteed footprint. It's going to be a little hairless Bigfoot that does the footprint for me, but I guarantee it's going to be a footprint that I can cast. And I've got a few expeditions coming up I've been invited to, so hopefully we'll have some new stuff with my solo field research pretty soon.
Awesome. Well, hey, Michael, if you could come up, that'd be great. I know it's probably, I talked to you about it before, but I know even though it was still short notice, you're welcome to come up and join us next week.
Well, I'm talking to Dad this weekend, and maybe a little birthday weekend if he wants to do it.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, anyone? We're about to be disconnected. So I was going to say, anyone have any last minute words, real quick?
Well, I enjoyed being on your show, guys.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Don, you were awesome. This was a great show, great discussion, a lot of information shared. Definitely appreciate you, and you know what? Maybe we'd definitely like to have you back. That's for sure. So.
Well, I'd like to see that. How's that?
Oh, yeah.
Send me shoot me a message on Facebook if you don't care.
Do what now?
Shoot me a message on Facebook if you don't care.
Oh, I will. Okay. Sure will.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Well, as far as next week's show, right now be on the lookout for the link. I do not have a guest lined up. I got lazy and didn't do my scouting because I've been working long hours, and so I've been tired and worn out. So, but there will be within the next day or two. There will be a show link listed for that, and hopefully I'll get that taken care of soon. So, but I think our discussions are awesome. Perhaps we might just do a open discussion and leave it at that, because we get into one thing, talking to, it leads to another, and we throw a lot of awesome information gets put out there. So, but I want to thank all of you guys for being on here too. It's been a great discussion, great show, and for viewers, again, if you haven't done so, subscribe to YouTube channel ECBRO 98. Don Peak, do you have a YouTube channel you deal with?
No, I sure don't, but I'm definitely going to put one up here shortly.
Okay. Well, definitely if you put one up, definitely let us know. I'll be glad to promote it for you and put it out there for you.
Okay. So, all right. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Shaky Jr., I'm going to let Shaky throw his out there because I always get it wrong every time I announce it.
The Shaky Jr. channel, I probably will be posting a new video this weekend for Shaky Jr. The other show is American Legends and Myths with Shaky and Lale, and next week I think we're doing the Bell Witch. So.
Oh, interesting.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Are you into the paranormal, Shaky?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, and as soon as you get more information put out there as far as the the Bigfoot Dogman conference in Kentucky next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I appreciate you going. And
absolutely.
And I'm glad to have you and your crew, your team, as a guest and share your information with my Don Peak Wellness Adventure team and everybody else that's coming. So it's going to be great. In a few weeks, when I get more clarity on who's going to show up, I'll go ahead and put. People are going to be surprised at some of these names now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing who else is going to be there. That should be awesome.
And so it's going to be a great. It's going to be great. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a little. It's going to be big. It's maybe the biggest thing has happened in Dogman and Bigfoot research conferences and no telling how long. So
awesome. It's going to be awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So
that's
the first place my vacation hours are going towards is that event.
Awesome. we're gonna settle on a date too. If we know it's going to be in May, we're gonna settle on a date. So we'll go ahead and post that too.
Awesome.
Keep in mind the Ohio Bigfoot Conference goes on in May also, so you don't. I mean, I'm not saying competing or anything like that, but you might have a couple hundred people that don't come because of that one. They're there at that one.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, perhaps people will save more. Well, tell them the real deal is going to be down in Kentucky. So.
There you go.
All right. Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead. I have to end this before we get disconnected abruptly. So thank you guys again. And I don't know. I'll see you guys on social media. And thank you for jumping on, Nincompoop.
Welcome. Next meeting. I had a good show.
Absolutely. Well,
Great.
thank you.
Okay.
All right. God bless everyone.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Y'all later.
Fashion emergency hotline.
Help! My mom doesn't think I need to go back to school.
You have to go to school. It's the law.
You didn't let me finish. She doesn't think I need to go back to school shopping.
That should be a law. Go to Old Navy. You'll be voted best dressed before school even starts.
Old Navy?
Yes, right now, kids' clothes are up to 60% off.
60% off?
Yeah, the hallway will be your runway. They have awesome graphic tees, colorful active gear, and jeans start at just $10.
Now you're talking. Thank you.
Don't thank me. Thank Old Navy. Valid 7/28 to 9/2. Select styles only.